I went to 12 different countries in 2017. It was brilliant. I took video. I've not really done anything with it though, so I thought, montage. I wanted to look back on an incredible year and think about what I've learned along the way. It started with my school friends at a house party in Sheffield. We talked about our wishes for the year. For most of them it was to have a baby, which they've all happily done. But for me it was to buy a house. I just didn't know where. But first, Vietnam.
Tiny chair, tiny bowl. Yeah. Now, train, please.
And then all the little kids come out and they're like, Xin Chao! And so I reply, Xin Chao! And we're all best friends. I started the year as I'd lived the last two, as a digital nomad, travelling and working as I went. I met a great bunch of people and cycled from Hanoi down to Ho Chi Minh City with Intrepid Travel, before flying over to the little island of Phu Quoc. I had a great time. Despite this, I knew that my enjoyment of travelling solo was coming to an end. During my week in Phu Quoc, I really would have loved someone to travel with. I came back via Abu Dhabi and had a few hours to explore the incredible Grand Mosque, the most famous building in the country. My next trip was to Barbados, and one of the best collaborations I've done. I worked with Skyscanner to show off the best of the island, and with free rein to do what I wanted, I loved driving around in my little moke. Diving a wreck was cool, and the catamaran party was crazy. The end of that trip was a milestone for me. Not only a huge point in my career, getting to do what I wanted on Barbados, but also the end of 2 years and 9 months of living out of my suitcase. I was definitely ready. So this is it, it's my new life in Southsea. This is my bedroom. After an overnight flight, I was desperate to sleep, but with no bedding, not even a duvet, I had to go shopping. I'm gonna buy so much stuff. Lisbon! Yay! We are going to go and see what Lisbon has to offer. Helen from Helen in Wonderless came to Lisbon with me. God, it was a boozy weekend. I'm ravenous. I mean, Helen stuffed her face on pastel and pastries. Helen is literally the most hardcore person I know, and by day 3 I'd lost my phone and couldn't even work out a simple train schedule to get to Sintra. It was a lot of fun though. But what happens in Lisbon stays in Lisbon, so let's move on. I went to Amsterdam to the VidCon conference and was treated like a famous YouTuber with private dinners in the Rijksmuseum, boat rides on the canals and even a fancy dinner courtesy of Calvin Klein. But one of my main aims for coming back to England was to see more of my homeland. So my friend Chloe and I travelled the south coast courtesy of Vauxhall Mocha and explored Dorset and Devon over the Easter holiday. In 2017 I had a few UK mini breaks, from Bristol to Brighton to the Pennyhill Spa in Surrey and the Manor Weston in Oxford. May was all about the girly holiday though. Jane from Girl Tweets World and I went to Antigua thanks to Elite Island Resorts. We had fun up at the Shirley Heights Sunset Party, on the lake doing aquafit and just generally having a lovely time exploring the island and eating and drinking in the sun. A few weeks later we went to Greece. I loved this trip.
Welcome to paradise!
We went island hopping between Skiathos, Skopolos and Alanissos with Olympic holidays. We rented a car on each island and I loved the freedom we had to explore the beaches. In among festival season I had a last minute trip to Knysna in South Africa. I really like South Africa, but weirdly it was this trip that made me realise I wanted to buy a house, to have a home. I know, weird. I came back and bought the second one I sold. After handing over my life savings, a day later I flew off to one of the most exciting places I've ever visited, Papua New Guinea. I learned about the different beliefs of a few of the villages, I saw the beautiful landscapes and I fell in love with scuba diving again at the Walindi Resort. From what I could see, there's no reason why Papua New Guinea is so overlooked by travellers. Back in England and the big moving date soon came around, so exciting. After weeks of working on the house and trying to run my business at the same time, I jetted off to Malawi, a dream trip that excelled anything I had in mind. The trouble is it's totally whet my appetite to see more of the country and of Africa in general. I came home, put the Christmas decorations up, went to a few parties, had some friends round to my house for dinner, and then jetted off for my first European Christmas market experience in Basel, Switzerland. Christmas 2017 was an important one, the first year I've ever spent Christmas away from England and my family home. Luckily, they came with me to Tenerife. All the traditions of years gone by might have gone, but we had a brilliant time doing something different.
Cheers! Happy Christmas!
Cheers! If I look back on 2017, I'll remember it as one of the fastest of my life. How has it been a year since I cycled Vietnam? The failed promises made, losing weight, getting healthy, better working practices, blah blah blah, pale into absolute insignificance when I think about what an incredible year it's been and the opportunities I've had. This year I've learnt the importance of focusing on your own path and how destructive and pointless self-doubt and comparison can be in every aspect of life. Seeing how people live in Papua New Guinea and Malawi reminded me just how easy I have it. For 2018, I'm promising myself to help others more and to practice a little more self-care in every way. Also to remind myself that all it takes is the right attitude to know that the grass will always be greenest for me because I watered it myself.